and welcome to our fifth Future Endeavours workshop. My name's Hannah and I work at Flying Fish Studio in Sheffield, and it's lovely to see you here today. So I'll just run through the little project that we'll be doing. So here we're going to be making, so it's fizzing colours, and you'll find out in a little bit why it's called fizzing colours. But these are the types of backgrounds that we'll be creating. Okay, so we're creating backgrounds today using food colouring, bicarbonate of soda and vinegar. Okay, so even if I don't like some parts of these backgrounds, I'm just going to choose sections that I like, just like here. I chose a background that I liked, I cut it out, and then I just wrote on it as a little thank you card, so we can use these in like future art projects. So they're not necessarily artworks in themselves, or they may be, but you can then use these to create other pieces of art for whatever you'd like. You might want to create notebooks or thank you cards or whatever you'd like. Okay, so what I'll do first is I'll explain a little bit about the science behind what we'll be doing today. Okay, whilst I'm explaining that, I'll just show you the materials that you need so that if you are crafting along with us today, you can grab these materials. So we're just going to need some vinegar. Okay, so this is just the normal like malt vinegar that you'd find in your cupboard, that you could like put on your chips. Okay, so we have this. We also have some bicarbonate of soda. We have some food colourings. So I've got some blue, some pink and some yellow here. I've got a few of these ramekin dishes or little bowls, some spoons. I've also just got some plain white paper. And I think that's about it. I've also got a tray just so that my table doesn't get messy, okay? You'll also want to wear clothes, which you don't mind if they get stained potentially, because food colouring can stain. And yes, I've got a tray here that I'm going to do my artwork on today. So before we get into doing the artwork, we're just going to do a little experiment first, okay, to see what happens when we mix vinegar and bicarbonate of soda, okay? So bicarbonate of soda is also known as sodium bicarbonate, if we were to do it as like a chemical equation. And then we've got vinegar, and this contains acetic acid, okay? And when we combine these, which we'll do now, so I've just put, if you're doing this at home, I've just put like about a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda in here, and I'm going to add probably about 10 times as much vinegar, okay, approximately. So I'm just going to put this in here. You might be able to hear the fizzing sound. If not, you might like to do this experiment at home. Before all the carbon dioxide escapes, I'm just going to pop a glove on here. Okay, it needs a nice tight seal, because what's happening is this sodium bicarbonate is reacting with the acetic acid, which forms sodium acetate, water and carbon dioxide. Okay. And we can show that this gas is being produced, carbon dioxide, because putting a glove on a cup and you'll find that at first it'll be quite saggy, the glove, but then as the vinegar and the bicarbonate of soda react together, so the acetic acid and the sodium bicarbonate, creating the CO2 will have nowhere to escape to other than to fill up the glove, okay? So what I'm going to do now is, if you're doing this at home, just make sure the glove is on nice and tight. I've also pulled the glove a fair way down just so that like not loads of carbon dioxide needs to be produced in order to actually have an effect and fill up the glove. So I pulled it down, so there's just a little bit of glove left. And you can already see actually it's standing up on itself. It's starting to fill up. Okay, so this is the chemical reaction. I'm going to leave it here so it's still in view. This is the chemical reaction that is happening, but instead of it being in a cup with a glove on top, we're going to be doing it in our tray and creating art from it. Okay? If anyone wants to know the chemical equation for this, I'll just pop it down. So we've got sodium bicarbonate, so that's NaHCO3. I'm not sure if that's showing up the right way or the wrong way on your screen. Plus, I'll read it out as well, HC2H3O2, that's the acetic acid in the vinegar, okay? And then that makes the sodium acetate, so NaC2H3O2 plus the water, which is H2O, plus CO2, which is the carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is the chemical equation for what's happening. I'll comment with that equation afterwards so that if it was backwards on your screen, you'll be able to still have a look at what's happening. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to mix, instead of just using bicarbonate of soda and vinegar on our paper, in which case we'd probably just get like a pale browny mess, we're going to add food colouring to it, and then we can watch it fizz. So to my little ramekin dishes, I'm going to add some bicarbonate of soda. I'm going to do 3 different colours, I think. It's nice to have a mixture because then you get that really gorgeous blending of colours, like here. You can create really, really nice backgrounds. So I'm just going to add about a teaspoon here, and then I'm going to add a little bit of colour to each one. So these are not exact quantities. Okay, so yellow, pink, and this looks pink but it's actually blue. Okay, oh, lovely colours. And then what we're going to do is I'm just going to mix them up. If you've got loads of bicarbonate of soda in here, you'll actually end up having more of a paste. So I'm thinking I'm going to add a little bit more. Colouring. We need it still to be a little bit liquidy because then we can put it on our paper. Now my yellow actually turns into a red on here. When I then react it with the vinegar, it does actually go back to a yellow. So there's actually a colour change happening. Okay, mix that together. I think that needs a little bit more food colouring. Do be aware that the room that you're doing in this will really smell afterwards. I've been experimenting this morning and yes, the house really smells now. Very strong smell. A little bit more blue. Okay, so it's giving it a little mix around. And then I'm going to lay some paper on my tray, or you could use a big thick wad of newspaper. And I'm just going to use my spoon. You could use a paintbrush. Just to pop a little bit of colour onto my sheet. Again, once you finish this experiment, this arty experiment, don't worry if it's not like the whole piece of paper has to be what you like. It could just be a part of it that you then cut out to create another piece of art. So these are like creating coloured backgrounds from your food colouring, sodium bicarbonate and vinegar. Okay, so got a bit of pink, a bit of blue, a bit of what was yellow but now has reacted, seems to have reacted with the bicarbonate of soda, but this does turn back to yellow. Okay. So now I've got my sheet on with this rather thick mixture, and then going to get my vinegar. Oh, if you can see actually here, you can see they're already, it's really filling up. Okay, just needs a little bit more and then it'll be totally fill. So it is still reacting. I can still see bubbles, so I can still see the carbon dioxide being released. Okay, so I'm just going to pop some vinegar on this now. Oh, exciting. You can use a spoon if you prefer, but if I'm quiet, you might be able to hear the fizzing. I can hear the fizzing, but you might like to do this at home if you want to hear the fizzing. So I just lift it up now, so you can see the yellow starting to appear back. I'm going to pop a bit more vinegar on. And all the colours are merging and fizzing together. Looks amazing. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to leave that for a little bit. Could even spread a bit around with a spoon. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that for a little while until I feel like probably about an hour or so I'll probably leave that for. And then once I've left it for an hour or so, the colours hopefully by then will have really soaked into the paper. And so then what you can do is you can get a paper towel, and if you just give it a little dab, get some of the, so there's not so much excess vinegar. And then what you can do is if you leave it for a day or two, it'll start to dry, and then you'll be left with like some white powder on top from the reaction. So then you can just scrape that away, and then you'll be left with your backgrounds that you can then use. Now with your backgrounds, there's a gorgeous yellow. I feel like that could be made into some kind of planet picture, some kind of fireball in the sky maybe. So you can, I mean here I've just wrote words on this one, but it may be that you actually want to do some extra drawings around it. So I might cut it off here, and then for example, ooh, like this one here, I really love this kind of really bold outline that it's given. And so I might do little doodles around the outside. I could almost imagine this as a cloud, and I could do some people jumping on the cloud. You can use your imagination to decide what you'd like to then do with these pieces of paper, whether you'd like to cut them out and use them for collage, or cut them out and use them for anything really, notebooks, collages, diaries, cards, even just like bits of doodle paper. So yes, that's these are the types of pieces that you can create. Now it may be that you have particular colours that you prefer, and so you can experiment with these. Once I've done this on a tray, if I were to do another one, I would then just carefully lift this off, pop it on a thick pile of newspaper, and then I'll have my tray ready for the next one. Okay, so It's almost filled up. You can see 4 of the 5 fingers have filled. So yes, this is the science behind all the fizzing, and you can see the carbon dioxide is filling up the glove here. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed. If you'd like to view this again, then it'll be at 3 o'clock this afternoon, where I'll be carrying out the same experiment. If you want to bring materials along, then that would be lovely to have you with us. And if you have any questions, do just let me know. You can contact me at Flying Fish Studio or through Art Call. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.